Yo, we're going to talk about gerrymandering to start with. Gerrymandering is a specific part. It happens a lot in American elections, some other places, but America, we do it pretty good. Gosh darn it. So we got voting districts, right? This is like in Iowa, we got 4 voting districts. Uh, each census, they adjust those, right? Like when I first moved back to Iowa from after Colorado and being out there, you know, Floyd County was connected to Cedar Rapids. Now we're connected to, and I'm pointing west, I say, all the way out to the Missouri River. All right. So why they do that? They took Floyd County, which at that time when we had our redistricting, actually voted highly Democratic, and popped us into this northwestern section of Iowa. And so the votes did not count as much. Now it's called rigging the elections, rigging. And if you look off there to your left, you can see Maryland's 3rd district, which at one point was just a block, another block. And then they made it a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit more scattered and a little bit more scattered. And then I don't know what that looks like there at the bottom, but let's call it it looks kind of like a virus under a microscope. And why they do that is so that as they assign and adjust these districts, they can control based on geographic data of the populace how they're going to vote. So as you can see, this one, it's just a block of people together, right? In a specific place. By the 113th Congress, what they're looking at is trying to find blocks of people that they know historically are going to vote a certain way so that they can keep winning that election. All right. Both sides do this. Recent history, it has been more along the lines of the Republicans that have done it, but it is what it is. All right, we're going to skip that part. You watch that video on your own. I have to sneeze. I don't. All right, now let's kind of go on to like the global scale. All right. So there's 2 types of government. You have a unitary and a federal. All right. A unitary has central control. Think a nation's capital, a state's capital controls the nation. In the federal, power is divided amongst local, state, and nation. All right. Look at all these differences here. Add these to your notes. Now, political, economic, cultural, or technological changes can challenge state sovereignty. Right? Sovereignty is the ability of the state to rule itself. All right. If you think of some like political ones in state sovereignty, as states get like loco, as they get crazy, there's usually to a degree some atrocities that happen. Hitler is a good example of that. Things just start to kind of go bad. All right. One key word in this is devolution, the breaking up of. First kind of idea is you have autonomous regions. All right. In America, our best example of that is Indian reservations. They're part of America, but they are autonomous. They have their own self-government. All right. At say at the national level. At an international level, they follow America, right? And then you have subnational territories. Canada is our closest best example. You have a group of people in there known as the Quebecois, and those guys, yeah, they're the French Canadians, right? This is why there's dual language in Canada, and they basically say Quebec is free. My favorite example is Spain because, I've been there a lot and I like their food. But in Spain, you have a group of people known as the Basque, all right? And the Basque, they're they have their own specific language. They're sheep herders. They actually had a terrorist group called ETA, and they basically wanted independence for the Basque people in Spain. So it's a national cultural group. You also have the Catalonians in northeastern Spain that are also very much like, we want to leave Spain and go out on our own, which they could because they have tourism like none other. And then you also have examples of states that just disintegrate. All right, this can be physical geography can kind of lead to it, cultural issues, all of those things. Let's just focus on South Sudan for an example here. Sudan straddles the Sahara in Africa and then also the savannah. The northern half of Sudan, which is now Sudan, they are Muslim. They're Arab, all right. But South Sudan, they're African, right? They follow Christianity more. So it's this distinct little bit of difference. All right. Devolution, causes thereof. Physical geography, ethnic separatism, which is like the Basque, the French Canadians. You also have ethnic cleansing. Write this word down. Balkanization, which happened in the Balkans in the 1990s. This is why we have Bosnians and Serbians that live down in Waterloo. You got terrorism. That's the ETA group that I was talking about. You have like international terrorism, and it does kind of fall into this category, but it doesn't necessarily have to deal with the devolution of a country. Economic and social problems. Scotland is a good example for economics. They have territory, if you think about the law of the sea, up to 200 miles in the North Sea, tons of oil reserves. They want to de-evolve from the United Kingdom because they have that ability to, support themselves, through doing different stuff through the oil. All right. And then you got one of these key words here that you should probably make sure you're looking at, which is irredentism, which is groups getting back together. All right. Devolution, Spain. Take a moment, read and look at the different aspects of it, right? Catalonia, want to be free, semi-autonomous region. Controversy. Catalonia is very rich. Barcelona, beautiful town. Look up the architect Gaudi, Gaudi. Brilliant. Blow your mind. Talking futuristic Star Wars stuff. They don't want to send the rest of their money. I am like touching things and it's not working good. Good. All right, I'm back. All right. You also have Belgium, right? In Belgium, you got two groups of peoples, the Flandrians and the Wallonians, all right? And this comes down to cultural language, all right? What they actually speak and how they do it. And they're like, there's some distinct differences here. Canada. In northern Canada, you have a group of indigenous people. Let's call them the Inuit, right? And there's a tribe of them called the Nunavut, and they want to be free. And then you, of course, have the Quebecois. That's like, we want more autonomy, more autonomy, more autonomy. All right, take a moment, watch this video on fixing Nigeria. This basically comes down to the idea of cultural tribes inside of that country. Now you have Eritrea, which is on the Horn of Africa. They had an intense civil war, tons of child soldiers. They used to be part of, I believe it was Ethiopia. The second they got that freedom, as much as Africa does go, they started to hit an oppressive regime. South Sudan, I've already kind of pretty much gone over that. East Timor, don't worry about that one, dude. All right. People first of the people of the first new nation of the century suffered most of the worst atrocities. Withdrew 1975. Indonesia claimed it. Eventually, the UN had to take it over. And blah 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 blah. All right. A good example is the USSR. After they broke up in 1992, they're satellite countries, right? The first ones were Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. Belarus, Moldavia, Ukraine, all of these countries here started to break off from them and be like, we're our own country. All right. Now, new topic, supranationalism. All right. This is international organizations. And not always international. Sometimes they're like continent specific, regionally specific, but they're multinational organizations. You got to think economics, you got to think trade, you got to think military, environmental thing, and then there's one universal government thing called the United Nations, 195 countries. Sorry about having to turn your head that way. All right, so multinational organizations. One, UN, world peace, fighting human rights violations, stuff like that. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, military defensive alliance. European Union. This is both a trade and a political government organization. Like the EU, they will pull all of their resources together. You have ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Both of these countries, when they combine together, both of these organizations, the EU and the ASEAN, when they combine together, they allow corporations inside of their states to have more power. If you think about airplane making, right? You got two big groups, Lockheed Martin and Airbus. Airbus is in France. They cannot compete with Lockheed Martin. No, Boeing. Yeah, it's Boeing, not Lockheed Martin. That's a rocket company. So you got Boeing and Airbus. All right. Airbus can't compete with Boeing because they don't have the resources. But when they take all of Europe together, they can compete with Boeing. All right. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, they can't necessarily compete with China on their own, but when they're together, they can start to compete. The Arctic Council, we're going to take a look at a video about that. But I mean, that's a group that deals with the Arctic. You have the African Union, which deals with Africa. And then you got the North Atlantic Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, which has been changed by Donald Trump to, I believe it's like Mexico, US, Canada, Mexico agreement, something like that. That is, there are no tariffs between countries. All right. You have centrifugal and centripetal forces. Centrifugal pull forces apart. Centripetal brings them together. All right. You got political dimensions, economic and cultural ones. All right. Think politics in America. Right now, we are having centrifugal forces in this country. All right. Centripetal could be things like, in America, we're like, let's sing the national anthem at every event together in unison, holding hands, like that. That would bring people together. I don't know if that would really work. That's just kind of me being stupid and having a joke. Oh, and that's the end. Hope you guys enjoy this. Enjoy your 4-day weekend, people. All right. Have fun. I will see you guys in class on Wednesday. Bye-bye.